Hello, Ederson Oliveira here. This is another DNN chat of the month, and today we have a special guest. We have Lee Wise, finally someone wise amongst the stupid people that are usually here. Sorry about that, Joe. I mean, again, not you, but me. I'm the stupid one, and I know, Scott, you are not, but I am the stupid one. So finally someone wise around here. Lee, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Great. Okay, so we'll talk to you a little bit more later on down the road. So again, we have Joe, Craig, our usual suspects here, and Scott. Scott is playing the ghost of the past Halloweens or the future Halloweens, because lately he has been hiding behind his voice. No, Scott, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. Yeah, thank you. I'm dressed up as a ghost. Unfortunately, I can't show you that.
Of course, because otherwise it would spoil your costume, And by the way, talking about costume, talking about DNN Halloween costumes, we have, if you don't know, we have our own DNN monster for Halloween. Who knows that guy? Anyone knows that guy?
The Yeti?
The Yeti, yes, that's the Yeti. Let me lower my mic here. That is the Yeti, So DNN is honored to have our own monster. We should have a custom for that guy. I'm talking to you, David, Ryan. I'm talking to you guys, okay? So you should have a custom for that guy for next Halloween. So again, very good to have our own monster that we can celebrate Halloween here. Let me talk business a little bit. Let's start talking business here. And I don't know if I will be able to do that with this mustache, but I'm gonna try for as long as I can. I'm gonna start with saying a farewell and saying see you soon, I guess, to Joe Brickman. Just this past month, he came about with a blog post on his The Accidental Geek blog, saying that he is departing after many years, and of course a lot of contributions to the DNN community, to the DNN platform. He is departing from DNN Corp. He is not departing from the community, but again, he is moving away from DNN Corp. And a lot of people jump in and congratulated him for his contribution. And I don't want to do anything different here. I just want to say to Joe, thank you for all your contribution, for what you have done, and I hope that, again, we'll continue seeing you around in space, and whatever, life, technology, whatever brings to you, I hope that it is as exciting as you said, as the excitement and what you went through with the DNN space, within the DNN space. Anybody else there to say, your farewells, to Joe?
Well, Joe is.
No,
I'm sorry, Joe. Joe has been around ever since I have known that .NET New DNN existed. So it's another changing of the guard. I certainly do wish him well, and hope to see him at DNN related events in the future.
Scott,
I was just going to say the same thing. I mean, to me, he's one of the IT technologists, I guess that you call him. For me, he's one of the highest respected people I've met. So, yeah, we're going to miss him. And again, he was one of the founders of DNN Corp, right? I mean, he helped start DNN Corp. So, yeah.
Awesome. Again, I can call you, Joe, as one of the founding fathers of DNN, if I may say.
That's right.
Great. Again, hope you do just great, Joe. Now, on that same...
On the other hand, I own the name Joe again, so that's cool.
So I don't need to say Joe C or Joe B?
Now I can be just good old Joe.
Okay, now on that same note, someone departing, we have someone coming back, I would say, and I'm talking about our good buddy, our our own Clint Patterson. Clint Patterson this month just announced that he's back within DNN Corp, and now his position is officially called DNN Ecosystem Manager. It seems to entail relationship with the community and the store as well, and I think that there are a few other things here, but mainly it seems to be community related and store related as well. So again, I guess that yet another one interesting move done by DNN Corp after the acquisition. And as soon as he came in, as soon as Clint, rejoined DNN Corp, he posted a newsletter, which he's calling the DNN Digest. It's not set in stone that this will be a monthly newsletter, but it will be as frequently as I guess that there's something to be told about. So the first one came just a few weeks ago. There is a place that, because I've heard that some people didn't get that newsletter, and I'm talking to you, Steve. Steve, you were there. I know that you didn't get that one, but now there's a page that you can go to, and all those links will be posted in the show notes, that you can go to subscribe to that newsletter, and I'm gonna share that with you guys. And also there is another page that will have the archives of the digest. So again, all those links will be posted there in the show notes. What else? Any comments there about Clint coming back? I mean, I feel excitement. I feel excited with what he put there in the newsletter, and I guess that I think that the other thing that he will be heavily involved is the MVP program as well. He already joined the MVP meeting last time. So again, any comments about that? Anyone?
Well, I'll jump in here. I think nothing is better than having Clint fully involved with DNN again. His enthusiasm, he has certainly jumped in with energy. I look forward to getting periodic updates from DNN Corporation through him, and look forward to what he brings. He's an enthusiastic community supporter. And I think that goes along really nicely with the stated intent to rebuild, rejuvenate, reinvigorate the DNN communities. I think that's terrific.
Awesome. Again, me too. I mean, I feel that it's a great move from Andy and Andy Treba, the new CEO of DNN, and move in the right direction. No question about that.
I guess I'm not DNN related, but to congratulate Clint. He's expecting a baby pretty soon.
That's true. Oh, I see. How soon is that? Do you know that?
I mean, it's still next year. I don't think he's like.
Got it.
Next few months, yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be a real baby boom amongst some of the better known members of the community. I know one of them is expecting a child within the next 2 weeks.
Okay, so
right?
good. So people are no longer just coding on DNN, and people are doing some other stuff as well, I see.
Yeah, there was a picture posted on Facebook this morning from Oliver Hine conducting a training session with his newest contribution to the community.
True, and a few weeks prior to that, we had the DNN Connect guy. Oh my goodness, it just went out of my head. Peter Donker. Yes.
Yeah.
Great. So we have
he now has several generations of kids, right?
True.
He has I think a teenager, doesn't he?
Yes.
Or close to teenager.
Yes. Okay, great. So again, a resurgence of DNNers, reproducing. Let's put it this way, for lack of a better word. Okay, so
building the community 2 feet at a time.
Yes, that's it. That's the strategy. I see. If you cannot convince people to use it, you just procreate. Okay.
It's easier than getting a PHP developer to come on board. So
I can tell you this, it's much less expensive, you know. Anyway, okay, so just a quick note here. DNN 9.2 should be coming up at any point in November. So watch out for that. I'm not gonna cover what's included there because I did that last time. So just a quick note about that. Blogs. I have 2 blogs here that I would like to mention, coming from the same person and actually more or less the same topic. So I got one here from Will Stroh talking about, you know, utilizing Google Analytics advanced tagging, you know, with integrating it better with DNN. And even more specifically on this post, he talks about, you know what, let me take this out because it's messing up my voice. So more specifically here in this post, he's talking about how you can, you know, gather more device-related information by using 51 Degrees, that library that comes for free with DNN with basic information, but you can purchase to get more advanced device information. So what he does here, he goes through a lot of details about how you can connect that data that you gather there in DNN, how you can send that over to, you know, connect with Google Analytics, and how you can extract great reporting and great information, great insights out of that data. So again, you should definitely check out this post if you are interested in, you know, getting to know more about how to integrate Google Analytics with DNN. So that's the first one. And the second one, it's from him. Again, it's from Will. Will Stroh is in a row about Google Analytics. And it's also about Google Analytics, how to activate Google Analytics Universal Code with DNN 9.1. And again, he goes through quite a lot of details here. It has become a little bit hidden how you can do that with DNN 9.1, but he goes through a lot of details on this post as well. So again, both from Will, both about Google Analytics and DNN. Great. Okay, so let's talk a little bit with our guest. I'm talking to you, the wise man. The wise man, let me start by saying that, okay, so there's a recent ship jump from another boat to another boat. Is that correct?
So with Gravity Works, I'm still doing front-end development with DNN. So I really enjoy that I still get the opportunity to work in the same software and still be a part of the community.
Let me ask you this, are you speaking on DNN Summit? Because I didn't see your name, or maybe not yet. I mean, tell me.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know if this is secret information that we're not supposed to release, but yes, I was chosen to speak.
Got it. No, at this point, I think it's getting released, but I didn't see your name there yet. But again, it's still getting published. And we're gonna get to DNN Summit in a second, Joe. You don't need to intervene right now, but great. That's great to hear that you're gonna be presenting there. Now, let me ask you this: in terms of front end, UI, UX, what's happening right now? I mean, what's hot right now? What's trendy right now? It's to be honest, it's a space that I don't follow too closely because it's not where my skills are. But tell me a little bit. What is exciting on that front?
So I'd say the biggest, like, number one thing everyone's talking about is using Grid, a new CSS property. I just got back from a CSS conference just a couple weeks ago, and
really?
It's just every topic, even if it had nothing to do with Grid, they still mentioned it in some way. I think a big reason for the excitement is it's becoming more available to a lot of the different browsers. We're not going to name names, but some browsers have been, kind of slow to adapt. And I believe it was sometime this summer they rolled out at least partial support with prefixes, even back to versions a couple years old.
Got it.
So unless you're supporting really, really old stuff, you can really start using Grid now. And so that's exciting. I'm going to start actually putting that in development, not just in personal projects.
Got it. Let me ask you a question. Let's step back for a second there. For those like me, I'm included there. For those that don't know much about what CSS Grid is, what is it and why it's a big deal, and what is it bringing that seems to be so powerful there?
Yeah, so I'm not going to be the best to tell you on this. You know, I tend to stay away from experimental stuff. You know, I'm not ready to learn it until I can actually put it to work. So I'm still learning it myself. But the idea is to simplify layouts and make it easy and intuitive. So, I mean, if you remember going back to originally we used tables for layout, which was really bad for so many different reasons. And then the next step was floats. So that, you know, improved that, but of course it brought its own problems. And next was Flexbox. Was the next thing to replace floats. And now it's grids. Which, and even now, it doesn't replace Flexbox. It just replaces it for certain functionality. So they're actually very good and complementary to each other, depending on what you're trying to do. But really, to dumb it down, Grid just makes it easy, intuitive to make layouts. You have less code bloat, and semantically, your code makes sense. Your markup is simple. And it's in the order that you want it to. You know, sometimes we'll have to reorder it because of the way we want it to view, but instead we can order it the way we want it to appear. You know, maybe for search engines or for accessibility purposes, and then we use CSS to make it look the way we want it to.
Got it. So browsers need to start supporting that technology as well. Is that correct? I mean, it's not something fully, you know, accepted by all browsers at this point, is it?
I would say no. It's good to start using it. I mean, if you're supporting, like, say, IE 9 or 10, it doesn't do 10. So if you're supporting 10 or lower, then maybe not. But even still, I heard the argument that using Grid is really simple. It just takes a few lines of code, you know, less than 5, to do a really simple layout, which normally might take lots of code. So I've heard the argument that, yes, go ahead and use Grid, take you 10 minutes, and then do your fallbacks, you know, using floats or whatever, you know, browser support you need. But if you're doing like the latest 2 or 3 versions of any browser, I think it's pretty safe. Of course, you can go to the site caniuse.com, and you can search specific browsers for what you need. But yeah, I think it's ready to start using.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay.
Now, Lee, I was going to ask about Bootstrap. You know, it seems like Bootstrap 4 is a bit of a departure from 3. Is that because in Bootstrap 3 they were using just, you know, they kind of wrapped standard either Flexbox or float type stuff with their column classes, and is Bootstrap 4 built on top of Grid? I'm not quite sure. It seems like a big departure, but I haven't researched it.
So yeah, I'll admit I kind of stepped back from Bootstrap. I used to use it pretty heavily. You know, it had some good things about it, but I think I just got lazy, just to be honest. So I'm not very familiar with Bootstrap 4. Yeah, I do know that Bootstrap 3 did use floats, so I'm hoping the new one uses Grid or at least Flexbox, but I can't say for sure. I don't know.
Okay.
I think Bootstrap 4 is Flexbox.
Okay.
And that's a think. And I was just looking over here for those who want a really beautiful introduction to Grid. Our friends at DNN Creative have a tutorial. I think it's dated May where he uses CSS Grid to build a simple skin. And yeah, it just really demonstrates how little you have to do in order to get something that actually appears on the screen the way you intended it to. I never could quite figure out how to create a skin based on floats that didn't break in some of the most horrible ways you'd ever see.
Awesome. Great note, Joe. I mean, just to let you guys know, DNN Creative's content is also posted on dnnhero.com, and actually we need to update some content there. In any case, Lee, let me get back to you here. So again, what's new, what's great? CSS Grid seems to be the next big thing. Aside CSS Grid, anything else that excites you that might be related to DNN or just touch DNN lightly? Anything else from a UI, UX standpoint?
So I guess personally, something I've been interested in is accessibility. I've just started, getting into it. And what I'm curious and interested is how to bring that to DNN. Obviously, DNN is a CMS, so it's not inherently good or bad for accessibility. It's really just the developer. But I even think of things like the skin objects. Are they accessible? Are they things that can be improved? And then even some of the core features of DNN, some of the modules, maybe the login module, or even like the little message alerts, based on how you have your DNN instance set up. I noticed, could use some improvements. So that's something that I'm looking into is how can we improve DNN to be more accessible?
Got it. Let me ask you that. I'm gonna take a wild guess here. You were doing that because now you're working with Jeff, and Jeff is the master of accessibility in DNN. When you combine accessibility in DNN, you're talking to the guy, Jeff. Is it right?
Yeah, Jeff's big on accessibility. So a lot of my work, I do have to have at least bare bones has to be somewhat accessible. Get the easy things taken care of. And so because of Jeff, I'm a little more aware and interested in some of that stuff, but it can be challenging.
I believe so. I mean, we have been working on a project that has an accessibility component to it, and to be honest, whenever we talk about accessibility, to me it's a subject a little bit blurry. There are so many nuances and so many things that are not testable from a machine standpoint. It has to be a human that will look at that and will test that. So yeah, it's a bit blurry to me, but I get inspiration from Jeff's talks,
Yeah. Yeah,
awesome.
definitely.
So again, great to have you here, and let's carry on with our conversations here. So let's talk a little bit about DNN Summit. Now, let's not just rehearse what we have been, talking about DNN Summit. I want to start by saying that starting in about 2 weeks, November 9th, from November 9th to December 14th, I'll be interviewing up to 5 speakers of DNN Summit every single week. So we're going to be, getting to know what they will be talking about. And this will be announced very shortly. And I even didn't check with the committee if I'm okay to mention that, but I'm going to mention that anyway. I don't really care too much. So, at some point, notification will be sent to all the speakers, inviting them to book on their calendar one of the days available. There will be 6 days available at this point, each day with up to 5 guests, where I'll be talking about, I'll be asking about their presentations, I'll be asking about their topics, I'll be asking about what is the one thing that you as a participant, as someone that will join the event, you will be getting out of their session. They will be, in a way, they will be pitching their sessions to you, to whoever is interested on potential attending, because keep in mind that you're gonna be running multiple sessions at the same time, so there will be plenty of speakers and there will be plenty of them pitching to you why you have to watch their presentation instead of the other track, maybe. So again, 6 dates whenever they are recorded, they will go live in a few days after that. But you should be on the lookout to have and watch those conversations as well. That's my spiel for DNN Summit. Joe, anything in particular that you want to mention about the summit? You are muted.
Yes, I was muted. I think the most important thing to mention is that you should come to DNN Summit. It's in early February in Denver. It's a real, honest to goodness 3-day event this year, starting off Tuesday, February the 8th. Is that right?
The 6th. The 6th.
6th. 8th is the end. Yeah. February 6th is our training day, and there are 4 full-day training sessions, an introduction to DNN, DNN administration, DNN development, and DNN theming. I think we should probably change it to DNN UI or something like that, since it's kind of grown. In the afternoon on Tuesday the 6th, we will have a business roundtable. That's actually a free event for people who want to come and engage in some group discussion, group think about how people are using DNN in their business operations. And that pretty much covers the gamut of business. Wednesday and Thursday are 2 full days of hour-long seminar type sessions. There will be keynote events, perhaps talks at lunch.
Joe, I have a question.
Sure.
I don't know if you can address that, if you can answer that, but because now it will be 2 full days of speakers, of the conference itself. Are we gonna have less concurrent sessions as a consequence?
No. I think there are, well, I'd have to go back and check. I can't remember how many were concurrent last year. It was 5 or 6. And the concurrency will be 5 or 6 this year. Basically, by going to 2 days, we have doubled the number of sessions.
I get it. Okay.
That will
Awesome.
be available. Come in early enough. If you're only coming for the 2-day conference, come in early enough on Tuesday so that you can come to the welcome reception on Tuesday night. And don't plan on leaving early Thursday, but stick around on Thursday evening for DNN After Dark, the after party. We don't have anything planned for Wednesday night, but for those of you who remember the Embassy Suites, there's a happy hour that starts at 5 with free drinks. It goes on for a couple of hours. It's a great big open space, lots of opportunity to talk, to network, to relax with all of your DNN friends. And wait, there's more. On Friday and Saturday, we will have the 2-day DNN on the slopes up in Winter Park, Colorado. And that, let's see, what does that include? That includes snow tubing, skiing, snowboarding, snowmobile, and apparently raucous evening socializing. There may even well be a songwriting contest this year. You never know what will happen.
Okay,
but,
okay.
If you enjoy the community spirit and like outdoor sports activities in the wintertime in the snow, come to DNN on the slopes. I understand that was a fun thing last year, and we plan to do it again. And you can fly home on Saturday night or Sunday and not miss your wonderful Monday back at work.
Awesome, awesome, great. So again, we will be talking always a segment every month about DNN Summit here. So moving on.
Yeah, let me just say one more thing.
Yeah,
that
sure.
With the added number of sessions, we will have some sessions that depart from the kinds of talks you might hear that are just strictly focused on DNN. New technologies, different ways of approaching topics, and that sort of thing. So we hope that turns out to be a good, fun, and useful addition to our conference.
Awesome. Very good, very good. Okay, so next here is, I just want to mention about Southern Fried DNN. They had a meeting on October 22nd talking about DNN continuous delivery with Visual Studio Team Service and Azure. So very, very interesting talk if you are interested in continuous delivery and again using Visual Studio integrated with Azure. I mean, the guy really knows what he's talking about. His name is, and I don't have his name here, Andrew Hoffling. Yeah, that's the best that I can do with that last name. Scott, let me ask you a question. Do you know a little bit? Do you know the concept behind continuous delivery?
Yeah, we have a few projects where we use Visual Studio Online, and to have an automated build process from TFS.
Got it.
To automatically do builds. And there's once you do the build, there's various other tools that you could use to deploy. One that we use occasionally on certain projects is Octopus, which is a tool that just takes care of copying files to different locations, making configuration file changes depending on the environment. It's usually not necessary in DNN because a lot of what we're doing is developing pieces, and that's normally not what you need continuous delivery for. But in certain cases, like the one project I'm thinking of that we use hotcakes and we don't do a lot of new module development. So the continuous deployment would be, we're making just hotcakes view changes, some controller changes, some other integration logic changes, and that gets deployed. But normally we don't do that on very many projects, because most projects, what we do is we build our modules, which create the packages, and then we deploy the packages to DNN. So there's no need for an automated build system and deployment system.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So if you are, I think that this talk here on the Southern Fried group is really geared towards the hardcore module developer, the hardcore developer that maybe works for enterprise, that will require continuous delivery as an integration with module development. So again, very good talk. If you are tech oriented, it was a very technical and really nitty-gritty details about deployment, options, settings, Azure settings, what needs to be set up and how you need to set it up, and what pitfalls you need to avoid to do that properly. So again, very good talk, but very geared towards a hardcore techie, a hardcore developer. Great. Okay, moving on here. Let's talk a little bit about. Let me see here. Yes, I came across this expert panel that will be happening in about a month, November 30th, and it's called DNN Administration Tools That Make Your Job Easier. Link will be there. You can sign up to get a reminder about that. But you're gonna have Kelly Ford talking about guess what? Talking about prompt. I think it's about prompt. Yes. We have David Poindexter talking about guess what? NV Quick Sites. And we have our buddy Ryan Moore talking about Evotiva backup module. So it's a session about, as it says, DNN administration tools to make your life easier. Very interesting one. I've signed up. I'll be joining that. But again, it's in over a month. So I'm just announcing that because I came across that panel. Great. Let's talk a little bit about new releases that I saw. Actually, I saw some buzzing going around about forums. Forums are, forums are almost like a dead art, I mean, nobody who puts up. Again, I'm going out there now. Who puts up a forum these days? We have a forum at DNNHero.com, but it's not super active. I've been more and more. I've been engaging people in discussions via Facebook, via other means, So I'm curious to hear your guys' opinions here on forums in general. I mean, what's your take, Lee? What's your take on forums? Do you use forums at this point in time?
Just a select few, like I guess, would you consider Stack Overflow a forum? If that counts, then yeah, I use that. But beyond that, pretty much just like Reddit would be, because it's one centralized. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I think forums are kind of dying or dead.
Got it.
Outside
Okay.
of very specific niche ones.
Good point. Good point.
I
Joe, Scott, anything there?
No, I agree, and I don't even know if Stack Overflow is really a forum because, I think everything's moving toward a more free-flowing, where you're not constrained to threads, threads and topics. Where Stack Overflow, things are tagged, but you're not constrained to certain threads or topics, right?
Right.
Got it. Joe, any opinion? Joe, there?
Yeah, well, I would have, a couple of weeks ago, I'd have agreed with Lee that forums are dead. Why even bother talking about them? And then what about a couple of weeks ago, Mandeep's
Yes.
announced
Live forums.
a module called Live Forums.
Yep.
And then last week, EasyDNN announced a forum module that had some words attached to the announcement that said kind of like Facebook. So
actually, it's not kind. Actually they use the comment engine of Facebook. I mean, they are using. They are using Facebook there. It's not like Facebook. They are using Facebook.
Yeah, and then I started looking around, and Mandeep's not only has live forums, they have something called Live Exchange, which looks like the DNN Q&A module, or
steroids?
maybe it looks like Stack Overflow. They have a live knowledge base, and they have a live help desk. So I found it extremely interesting that two of the larger module developers in the DNN community had released forum type modules within a couple of weeks of each other. Oh, there's also a live social in there as well. So,
yep. I mean,
I posted a question a couple of days ago on one of those hidden places on Facebook that people hang out, and just wondering what's going on here.
Yeah,
is there something going on that
we
those
don't
of
know.
us who really know what's going on don't know about?
Yeah, I actually.
What would cause two module developers to put that kind of resources into forum modules?
I had a look at live forums. It looks sharp. It looks nice. It really looks modern. And if I would be putting a new forum out there, I would definitely be using something like this live forum from Mandeep's. Mandeep's, they are usually very good at creating very slick, very simple user interface, and this is no different. So I really like that. The other one from EasyDNN, I'm not sure. Maybe it's good. I had a quick look, and I don't know, the fact that they use Facebook. Some people will say that this is an advantage. Some people say that this is a disadvantage. So again, and people say, I saw some comments talking about the fact that now you're building a forum on top of somebody else's platform. So again, there are pros and cons on going with a solution like Facebook comments. But I really liked live forums. What I saw, there's a video that you can preview. Mandeep will go through explaining settings, and I find it very slick. I find it very simple to use. So again, wanted to bring that to our attention. Some movements around forums in general to being released. And next one that I saw, a note from our own Sean Walker about hotcakes, release 3.0.1, which now you will be able to deploy hotcakes as a standalone module that can go and be plugged to any DNN website. So it seems to be the big improvement change on this release 3.0.1. So again, now you don't need to deploy an entire DNN site together with hotcakes. If you need hotcakes, you can install as a separate module, like we are used to in general when we talk about modules. Okay, perfect. I'm coming towards the end here. Let me mention about a set of videos that I found, and again, a good segue from an e-commerce standpoint. It's about NB Store. I saw a few videos, 9 videos actually, released by Tycho D. Ward. Those are short videos, but showing specific features and how to do specific things with NB Store, specific configurations within NB Store. If you are interested in if you may use NB Store already, or if you want to have a look and maybe have a quick assessment of how to work with NB Store, those videos might be a good place to start. Great initiative from Tycho D. Ward to release those videos to everybody so everybody could see them.
E-commerce is another area that has kind of gotten a real burst of creative activity this year. I think, not only the open sourcing of hotcakes, but it seems to have, the whole hotcakes phenomenon seems to have ignited some fires under other e-commerce developers, bringing their modules back, modernizing a little bit, or bringing them up, or trying to make them competitive, to something like hotcakes, which clearly had a huge investment made in it before they decided to take it out of the commercial realm and open source it. So, e-commerce and forums, it's 2006 all over again.
Good. Okay, great. So I don't have anything else. I want to go to the last point here, which is go around and see what's new, what's exciting for each one of us. Lee has already previewed us a little bit of what's new, what's exciting with CSS grids and what's going on there. So I guess that you told your piece there, Lee. I'm gonna ask you if there's anything else from your side, but before I do that, Scott, anything else, anything interesting, anything exciting on what's on your job, work, projects, hybrid cars, whatever?
No, I got my car running again. But other than that, not much exciting. I've been doing a lot of corporate training recently for DNN. And so went to San Diego a couple weeks ago, and I should be going to maybe North Carolina soon. So there's still a big interest in DNN, and people want to get trained on it. So I don't know. That's kind of what I've been doing. Try to keep up with the latest DNN and train people on it. Got it. And I would assume that those trainings, they are more geared towards Evoke type of customers. Yes. Yeah, typically. But, it's DNN training nonetheless. Got it. I get it. Perfect. Awesome. Joe, aside from that dragging project that is going on for months and months, anything else exciting?
Over 2 years at this point. That's a DNN 4 point something with lots of custom code that we're dragging to DNN 9.1.1. No, let's see. Things that I have been doing have fallen around e-commerce, event calendars and event management, search in the DNN environment, and a couple of other upgrades, and also one site that had 300,000+ rogue users registered with all kind of links and user biographies that it had so many users that you couldn't even log into the site.
You know, that's a great Halloween story, Joe. I mean, again, we are on the right, on the right track here. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I went from my side here. It's not so new, but we are really stretching the possibilities of open content from Satya Trawan. That's the module. That's the open source module called Open Content. Again, we are working on a project. We are doing a lot with that module, and I had the pleasure again, just a few weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, to talk to Sasha again on a Skype call, and he walked me through for 1 hour of all the ins and outs of how to use that module the best possible way. So it was a very good session. I hope that I will not publish that as a raw video, but at one point I'll publish some information about open content, which to be honest, I think it's an under appreciated, and it's under the radar, and it's a very good module as well. Lee, say your piece.
Can I say, it would be very interesting at some point to stack up open content against 2SXC and discuss circumstances in which one would be better than the other and vice versa. I tend to use the 2SXC thing mostly because I know how to use it.
I get it.
And I have not had the time to invest in learning how to use open content. So
I get it.
I don't even know the extent to which capabilities of one are not necessarily better, but more useful in particular circumstances.
I would love to have my hours of 10 to 12 at night to look at that. I mean, I would love to have that. I'd love to have the energy to do that. I'd love to put that grids, open content and to sexy content and Xmod Pro and but not really. Anyway. Lee, just say your piece. I mean, anything else that you want to mention before we wrap things up here?
No, I think I've talked plenty.
Awesome. Lee, again, great having you. And I hope that I'll see you on DNN Summit. And actually, before that, I hope that you join one of those get-togethers of where I'll be talking to speakers. And I hope that you join one of those as well, okay?
Yep, absolutely.
Scott, anything from your side? Can we wrap up?
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Thanks a lot for hanging out.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much. Have happy Halloween. Enjoy the season.
Scott wins most creative costume this year, no doubt.
Yeah, I
Perfect.
guess.
Thank you.
I guess that we should have a voting of some sort next time in a year we're gonna be doing that. So again, happy Halloween, happy November. We talk again at the end of November. Cheers, bye.